All right, we're back. Time to take a deep dive into a Dungeons & Dragons campaign diary.
Oh, nice. A campaign diary. I always love a good campaign diary, you know? Gets right into the action.
This is a first session one, too.
Really? Ooh, fresh characters, new story, so much potential. Love it.
And, well, let me just say,
Yeah.
this adventuring party, they're an interesting bunch, that's for sure.
Do tell. What do we got?
We've got a high elf fighter, Alara,
Classic.
but, and this is a big but, he's got this whole tragic backstory thing going on.
Ooh, tragic backstory, you say. That's always fun. What's he packing? Forbidden love. Family drama.
All that and more. We're talking forbidden magic, family tragedy, even a possible vendetta with a goddess.
Ooh, okay, so Alara is definitely bringing some baggage to the table. That's going to be interesting to watch play out.
Oh, yeah. And then there's this line in his backstory about a monstrous appetite. Super vague.
Ooh, cryptic. I do love a good mystery. Is it literal? Metaphorical? So many possibilities.
Right. This DM, I gotta say, they know how to drop a good hook.
Got to keep those players guessing.
Okay, so next up we have Doreen.
Doreen.
She's our human rogue.
All right, a rogue. Sounds like my kind of character. What's her deal?
She, well, she grew up on the streets of Waterdeep, so...
Waterdeep, you say? That's a city practically built for a rogue. Lots of opportunities for someone with, shall we say, flexible morals.
Exactly. And Doreen, she's got skills. Pickpocketing, lockpicking, persuasion. She's the real deal.
I knew I was going to like her.
She even has a pet mouse.
Aw, come on, a pet mouse. It's adorable.
His name is Mr. Mouse.
Mr. Mouse. That's amazing. Okay, Doreen is officially my favorite. But tell me, what about that backstory? What kind of trouble did she get into back in Waterdeep?
Well, there's a mention of a powerful sorcerer named Maldrath. Doreen may or may not have stolen something from him.
Uh-oh. That sounds like a grudge waiting to happen.
And Maldrath may or may not be looking for her.
Oh, boy. That's a whole other layer of intrigue.
Now, for our next character, we have Zyra. She's our sorceress, and let me tell you her backstory. It's dramatic, even for a D&D character.
All right, lay it on me. What kind of drama are we talking about?
Well, she was abandoned as a child because of her, get this, draconic heritage.
Draconic heritage, so like part dragon. That's intense.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing in the Forgotten Realms.
You know, you'd think with dragons being so powerful, having draconic heritage would be a good thing.
You'd think, but I guess not in this world. Anyway, because of all that, because she was abandoned, Zyra had to learn to survive on her own, and she learned to use her, shall we say, assets to her advantage.
Ah, I see. So she's resourceful, cunning, maybe a little manipulative.
Oh, definitely. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to use all her skills, including her magic, to get it.
This is already shaping up to be an interesting party dynamic.
Oh, and I almost forgot. We've got two more.
Yeah.
Balin, the dwarf fighter, and Morthal, the human cleric.
A dwarf and a cleric walk into a campaign. Sounds like the start of a bad joke. What are their backstories like?
That's the thing. The DM didn't actually provide backstories for them. So we're going in a little blind on these two.
Interesting. So we'll have to rely on their actions in the game to tell us who they are.
Exactly. But even without those detailed backstories, we do get some clues about their personalities from how they act in this first session. Morthal, for example. He's definitely the cautious, strategic type.
Makes sense, with him being a cleric and all. They tend to be more thoughtful, focused on protecting others.
And his military background definitely shines through in the way he handles the first encounter. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, so Morthal is our resident strategist. What about Balin, the dwarf fighter? What's his vibe?
Well, he's kind of quiet in this first session. Happy to let others take the lead, for now anyway.
The strong, silent type, huh? I bet he's got a few surprises up his sleeve. You know what they say about still waters?
Oh, I'm sure those dwarven battle cries will come out eventually.
I can't wait. All right, so we've got our players, each with their own unique backstories and personalities. Where does this grand adventure begin? Give me the setup.
Our heroes, they find themselves in Neverwinter. It's a bustling city full of quests and shady characters, and, well, they stumble upon that classic D&D starting point.
Yeah.
An escort mission.
Ah, yes, the escort mission. Simple, straightforward, what could possibly go wrong?
Famous last words. Right.
So let me guess. This escort mission, it doesn't exactly go according to plan.
You could say that. They're a few days into their journey, just enjoying the open road, probably thinking about all that gold they're going to get. And that's when they stumble upon a scene that just screams, D&D ambush.
No, I hate when that happens. What kind of scene are we talking about here?
Think like dead horses in the road, scattered supplies, that whole something's not right here vibe. It's all there on page 1 of the session log.
Ooh, spooky. The DM is really setting the mood. So how does the party react?
Well, to their credit, they don't just charge him blindly. They realize something's up, start looking for clues, checking for tracks.
Yeah.
Doing the whole adventuring thing.
Smart move, especially for a first-time group. They're learning. So who takes charge in this tense situation?
Well, Morthal, Mr. Military Background himself, he steps up, suggests they split up to scout the area. Classic tactical maneuver.
Very strategic. Splitting the party can be risky, but sometimes it's the best way to get a better view of the situation.
Right. So who goes with who?
Okay, so Morphal, he grabs Doreen. Smart choice, by the way. She's quick, agile, good for stealth. And they head for the high ground to the north.
Makes sense. Get eyes on the situation, figure out what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
What about the others?
Ilara, Balin, and Zyra. They take the more direct route, sticking to the road.
Oh boy, I bet that's where the trouble starts.
Ding, 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 we have a winner. They round a bend in the road, and bam! Goblins. Everywhere.
A classic D&D encounter. Gotta love those goblins. So, how does the party fare in their first real fight?
Well, let's just say it's a bit of a mixed bag. Poor Ilara. He's not having a good day. Catches 2 arrows to the chest and goes down hard.
2 arrows? Ouch. That's gotta hurt. Is he,
He's not dead, thankfully, but it's a close call. And to make matters worse, Doreen catches an arrow in the shoulder while she's trying to scale those cliffs with Morthal.
Oof, talk about adding insult to injury. So with Ilara down, Doreen wounded, things aren't looking too great. Who saves the day?
Zyra to the rescue. She lets loose with those sorceress skills, unleashes a volley of magic missiles, and takes out 2 goblins instantly.
Nice. Talk about making an entrance.
Right. She's not messing around. Meanwhile, Doreen shakes off that arrow wound like it's nothing, charges into melee alongside Morthal, and get this, she manages to land a solid hit on one of the goblins.
Way to go, Doreen. This rogue means business.
She's a tough cookie, that's for sure. Now remember, Ilara, our resident arrow pincushion.
How could we forget? 2 arrows to the chest. That's not something you easily forget.
Right. Well, it seems the dice god smiled upon him. He manages to use his second wind ability and gets back on his feet.
Second wind. For those of us who haven't dedicated our lives to D&D, what exactly does that mean?
It's basically a burst of adrenaline that lets a fighter shrug off some damage and jump back into the fight. A real lifesaver, especially in situations like this.
So Ilara got lucky.
Maybe. Or maybe there's something more to his resilience, something connected to that whole forbidden magic backstory. We'll have to wait and see. But back to the fight. With Ilara back in action, those goblins didn't stand a chance.
I bet. So how did those last few goblins meet their end?
Well, one of them tries to make a run for it, but Morthal, he was not letting that goblin escape. He chases the poor creature down and finishes him off.
Wow, and I thought clerics were all about healing. Guess they know how to throw down when they have to.
Oh yeah, don't let those holy vibes fool ya. Clerics can be fierce. And as for the last goblin, Zyra decides to end things with a bang, finishes him off with a fiery blast of magic.
Okay, that does sound kind of epic. So battle over, victory achieved. What's next for our heroes? Time for the good part. Loot.
Every adventurer's favorite part. Did they strike it rich?
Well, about that. Doreen, ever the opportunist, she gets right to work, checking pockets, looking for any treasure those goblins might have been carrying. Let's just say those goblins were fresh out of spare change. Not even a single copper piece to their name.
Aw, that's a shame. All that fighting for nothing.
Right. Doreen was definitely not happy about it. The session log even mentions her grumbling something about expecting a better class of goblin.
That sounds like Doreen, always looking for a payday. But hey, a win's a win, right?
True. But speaking of wins, did you notice how Zyra was buttering up Morthal after the fight?
Oh yeah. What was she saying?
Praising his leadership skills, talking about how impressed she was with his tactics. Almost sounded like she was trying to get on his good side.
Interesting. So what are we thinking here? Genuine admiration or some strategic manipulation from our resident sorceress?
I mean, it's Zyra we're talking about. She's definitely got a knack for getting what she wants.
True, true. Never underestimate the power of a well-placed compliment, especially when it comes from someone as charming as Zyra. But while Zyra's busy with her little power plays, the mystery of the missing dwarves is still unsolved.
Oh, right. Those dwarves. Almost forgot about those guys.
Easy to do with all the excitement. So what happens next? Do they continue on to Phandalin? Or try to pick up the dwarf's trail?
Well, it seems Alara, with his super sensitive, possibly enhanced by forbidden magic senses, he picks up on something. Tracks.
Ooh, tracks leading where?
That's the question, isn't it?
Mhm.
Alara seems pretty sure they belong to the missing dwarves, and he also gets the sense that those goblins were carrying something heavy.
Interesting. So maybe the goblins didn't just ambush the dwarves. Maybe they took something from them. Or someone.
Right. It's a potential clue.
Uh.
So naturally, Morthal, ever the cautious leader, he wants to investigate. But he doesn't just blindly follow those tracks. He questions Alara, makes sure those instincts are right, weighs the risks. It's all very methodical.
He's definitely taking his role as leader seriously. So what's the verdict? Do they follow those tracks or play it safe?
Adventure wins out. They decide to follow the trail, but not before stashing the wagon and any unnecessary supplies. Stealth mode activated.
Good call.
Yeah.
They're learning.
Right. And you know what's even more impressive? Alara, he's not just a pretty face with a tragic past.
Oh, don't tell me he's also got a secret talent for baking.
Even better, he's a natural tracker. He leads them through the forest, even helps them avoid a couple of nasty traps along the way.
Wow, Alara's on fire. Who knew all that baggage came with such useful skills?
Right. Our brooding hero is full of surprises. But all those surprises are put on hold when Doreen, who's scouting ahead, she spots something unsettling.
Uh-oh. What did she see?
Goblins. More goblins. Milling around the entrance to, wait for it, a cave.
A cave? You know what that means. Dungeon time.
Dungeon time it is. But there's a catch. Doreen also spots smoke coming from the cave.
Smoke. Okay, yeah, that's not ominous at all. What do you think it means? Ritualistic sacrifice? A dragon's fiery breath? A really intense campfire cookout gone wrong?
The possibilities are endless. Unfortunately, that's where this session log ends. On that cliffhanger.
Talk about leaving us hanging, but you know, that's the beauty of D&D, right? Always more adventure to be had.
Absolutely. And you know what else I love about D&D? How these characters, even after just one session, they already feel so real, so relatable.
I know exactly what you mean. You get so invested in their stories, their relationships with each other. It's like watching a TV show unfold right there at your table.
Exactly. And this campaign, it's just getting started. So to all you listeners out there, if you're looking for a campaign with intrigue, danger, maybe even a little romance.
Don't forget the loot.
Oh yeah, and the loot. Then this is the campaign for you. Tune in next time for another deep dive as we delve into Session 2 of this epic adventure. Who knows what mysteries and mayhem await?